Hello everyone, Mayor Paul Braun here, and I hope that this message finds you and your family and friends healthy and well. You may be a bit anxious and worried about the COVID-19 situation, and please rest assured that we will do what is necessary to make sure that essential village services such as police and fire protection, safe drinking water, and public works services will continue to be provided to us without interruption. As you have probably heard, Village Hall is now closed to the public due to the state of Illinois mitigation requirements regarding encouraging work at home by staff and limitations on public gatherings of 10 or less people. More importantly, this is for the protection of the health and safety of staff and residents, which brings me to the heart of what I want to say to you today. These next 2 weeks are going to be critical as to whether or not we are able to once again flatten the COVID-19 curve of infections and hospitalizations and deaths from this terrible virus. Much like we saw this past spring, but at a greater rate, all of the metrics that are being used to measure COVID-19 rates, such as testing positivity, case numbers per day, hospitalizations, and unfortunately daily death rates, have been increasing exponentially these past 2 weeks. And while this was somewhat expected, what was not expected was the fact that the metric rates of infection have quadrupled these past 2 weeks. Last spring, the highest daily infection rates that we were seeing were around 3,000 cases per day. These days, we are seeing case rates of 12,000 plus infection rates per day. I say to you that if we really want to flatten the COVID rate of infections, the time to argue about whether the metrics that we are using to measure the virus are correct or whether the government's actions are right or wrong have passed. The Village Board and I believe that if we are going to flatten the curve of infections these next 2 weeks, we must take personal responsibility for our own health. We must do the right things, which I think we all know, including what the majority of healthcare professionals are telling us to do. And this means wear a mask. This means whenever you go out in public for any reason, please wear a mask. Wash hands and use hand sanitizer frequently throughout the day. Practice social distancing whenever in public by keeping a 6-foot space between you and others, whether you are masked or not. Limit travel except for essential business. Folks, this is not an issue of liberty or freedom. This is an issue of personal safety and health, as well as our great concern for our local businesses. If we want our terrific businesses to survive, we must flatten the curve so that our businesses can return to indoor dining and normal retail activities. It's as simple as that. If we choose not to follow the safety recommendations, we place more risk not only on ourselves, but our families and our friends of contracting this terrible virus. This message of taking personal responsibility is endorsed by 275 mayors of northeastern Illinois, including the city of Chicago. And speaking of the city of Chicago, the city has started a COVID-19 campaign called Protect Chicago. The city is asking its residents to step up and follow the basics that we know work. Well, folks, I'm not ashamed to say, let's do the same. Let's step up and protect Flossmoor. Let us each do our part, and we will flatten the COVID-19 curve together. The Village Board of Trustees, village staff, and I are going to do what is ever necessary to protect Flossmoor, and I know in my heart that you're willing to do the same thing. So in closing, Mib and I wish each and every one of you a safe and peaceful Thanksgiving, and while it won't be the same kind of Thanksgiving that we've had in the past, as long as we can stay healthy and well, we will all be okay. Thank you, everyone.